வணக்கம். இது உங்கள் சேனல் கல்வி இலவசம். நான் உங்கள் வெற்றிக்கு வழிகாட்டி. வணக்கம். Philip Sidney, An Apology for Poetry. PGtrb English மேஜரோட ஸ்டடி ப்ரிப்பரேஷன் டே 8. Philip Sidneyயோட An Apology for Poetry இந்த டாப்பிக்கில் மாடல் கொஷின்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு கொடுத்துருக்குறோம். இந்த வீடியோவை ஃபுல்லாக பாருங்கள், தேர்வெழுதி பாருங்கள். உங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ரிலேஷன்ஸ் யாரெல்லாம் எம்ஏ பிஎட் இங்கிலீஷ் முடித்து டிஆர்பி எக்ஸாமுக்கு ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுறாங்களோ அவங்க எல்லாருக்குமே நம்மளோட இந்த வீடியோவை ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கள். ஆல்ரெடி நம்ம 7 வீடியோஸ் போட்டிருக்கிறோம். அது டிஆர்பி இங்கிலீஷ் அப்படிங்கிற டாப்பிக்கில் பிளேலிஸ்ட் நேம் டாப்பிக்கில் இருக்குது. எடுத்து தேர்வெழுதி பாருங்கள். வரக்கூடிய உங்களுடைய தேர்வில் வெற்றி பெறுங்க. வாங்க இந்த வீடியோக்குள்ளே போகலாம். Philip Sidney, An Apology for Poetry, Day 8. PGtrb English, Unit 1, An Apology for Poetry by Sir Philip Sidney. Question number 1. Sir Philip Sidney says poetry is an art of imitation. He gets this idea from dash. The correct option is C. Aristotle. Next, question number 2. Sidney, in his work An Apology for Poetry, cites Aristotle, who said that the goal of teaching is not gnosis but praxis. What do gnosis and praxis mean here? Option B. Correct answer option B. Knowledge and action. Next, question number 3. Sidney, in his work An Apology for Poetry, uses the Greek term misomosiosia to mean. The correct option is B. Poet haters. Next, question number 4. Sidney, in his work An Apology for Poetry, says that we should dash to crown poets. The correct option C. Plant more laurels. Next question number 5. Sidney, in his work An Apology for Poetry, praises dash who in the mystery time could see so clearly. The correct option C. Chaucer. Answer Chaucer. Next, question number 6. Sidney, in his work An Apology for Poetry, says the very name dash should taunt all backbitters. The option D. Epic. Next, question number 7. Which of the following sentence is true according to Sidney's An Apology for Poetry? The correct option is C. Historians are laden with old mouse-eaten records. C. Historians are laden with old mouse-eaten records. Next, question number 8. According to the Sidney's An Apology for Poetry, the great historian dash either stole or usurped from poetry their description of human emotions, the details of historical events that they never could have seen themselves, and the origins they never could have heard. The correct option is B. Herodotus. Next question. Sidney, in his work An Apology for Poetry, notes that the English word charm is derived from the Latin word common, which means. The correct answer option A. Song. Next, question number 10. According to Sidney, dash to the poet is no more than a long gown makes an advocate. The correct option C. Answer is versification. Versification. Next, question number 11. Sidney's The England's first critical text during Renaissance, an apology for poetry, is also called The Defense of Poetry. First one, A. Answer, The Defense of Poetry. Next, question number 12. The Elizabethan Exposition, an apology for poetry, which refuses the importance of poetry, was written in. The correct option is D. 1580s. 1580s. Next, question number 13. Sidney wrote an apology for poetry as a reply to Stephen Gozens. The correct option A. Answer is A. The School of Abuse. The School of Abuse. Next, question number 14. The School of Abuse, a treatise against poetry, was published in 1579. 1579. Option B. 1579. Next, question number 15. A Defense of Poetry, an essay that acknowledges the poets of the world, was written by dash. The option C. B. Shelley. B. Shelley. Option C. Next, question number 16. Who praised Sidney's An Apology for Poetry as analyzes the very inner essence of poetry and the reason of its existence, its development from, and operations on the mind of men? The correct option is D. William Stigand. William Stigand. Next, question number 17. In The Art of Imitation, whom did Sidney follow in his criticism representing the ability to imitate the reality of language? The correct answer is Aristotle. Option B. Aristotle. Next, question number 18. Who wrote a treatise on poesy or art? Recounting poetry also is purely human, for all its materials from the mind, and all the products are for the mind, is resembling the theory of imitation from Sidney. The correct option is D. Coleridge. Coleridge. Next, question number 19. Sidney's usage of metaphoric language in An Apology for Poetry is identified in modern days as. The correct answer is C. Semiotics. Semiotics. Next, question number 20. Who was that Scottish poet known for his sentimental lyrics called Sidney's Life as Poetry in Action? The correct option is A. Thomas Campbell. Thomas Campbell. Next, question number 21. Sculptured in the form of judicial orations, what was the nature of the discourse in An Apology for Poetry? The correct option is C. Descriptive. Descriptive. Next, question number 22. Unlike the modern usage of emblematic and of his interest in poetry, Sidney made as of rhetorical devices in An Apology for Poetry. What was the issue faced by Sidney through the use of rhetorical devices? The correct option is A. Censorship. Censorship. Next, question number 22. What was limited in Elizabethan England without a advisor's consideration and was disrespected by many of Sidney's contemporaries? The correct option is C. Poetry. Poetry. Next, question number 24. In the beginning of the essay, Sidney brings us an anecdote with an exordium. What is exordium? The correct option is A. Introduction. Next, question number 25. Given below are the charges given by Stephen Cozen against poetry. One among them is incorrect. Find it. The correct option is C. It is a mortal and nurses of abuse. It is a mortal and nurses of abuse. Next, question number 26. There are three kinds of poetry stated by Sidney in an apology for poetry. There are religious, philosophical, and dash. Imagination. Option D. Imagination. Next question 27. The most prominent figures of the Elizabethan age, Philip Sidney, died at the Battle of Zubtam at the age of 31st, and a pastoral elegy on the death of this noble figure was written by Spencer named. The correct option is C. Astrophel. Next question number 28. A defense of poetry by Shelley in the context of Romanticism was written in. The correct option is B. 1821. Next question number 29. What, according to Sidney, in an apology for poetry, deals with theoretical aspects and teaches virtue by precepts? The correct option is A. Philosophy. Next, question number 30. In an apology of poetry, what by Sidney teaches practical virtue by drawing construct examples from life? The correct option is D. History. Correct answer is history. Next, question number 31. Who says a poetry is the first light giver to ignorance it nourished before any other art or science? The correct option is C. Sidney. Next, question number 32. The pastoral romance Arcadia by Sidney, written late in the 16th century, referred by scholars as Old Arcadia and New Arcadia, was dedicated to his younger sister. The correct option is D. Mary Herbert. Next, question number 33. Who revoked on the title Arcadia of Sidney as the Countess of Pembroke Arcadia? The correct option is A. Mary Herbert. Next, question number 34. The lifelong philosopher of Philip Sidney was Philip Grevilla. The correct option is B. Philip Grevilla. Next, question number 35. Which work of Sidney Shakespeare borrowed and produced cluster as the subplot of King Lear? The correct option is C. Arcadia. Thank you. கல்வி இலவசம் சேனலை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள். டெய்லி நான் படிப்பு சம்மந்தமாக கொடுக்குற ஒவ்வொரு வீடியோவும் உங்களுக்கு பயனுள்ள வீடியோவாக இருக்கும். அதை முழுமையாக பாருங்கள். உங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ரிலேஷன்ஸ் இந்த வீடியோ யாருக்கெல்லாம் தேவை, கல்லூரி மாணவர்கள், டிஎன்பிசி, டெட், டிஆர்பி, எந்த ஒரு ஒரு அரசு வேலைக்கு போகணும் அப்படிங்கிற ஆர்வத்தோடு இருக்கிற யாவருக்குமே இந்த வீடியோ பயனுள்ள வீடியோவாக இருக்கும். அதனால் அவங்களுக்கு ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கள். நம்மளோட கல்வி இலவசம் சேனலை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணி முழுவதுமாக தேர்வு எழுதி பார்க்க சொல்லுங்கள். வரக்கூடிய அவங்களுடைய தேர்வில் வெற்றி பெற செய்யுங்க. நன்றி.